Hello, and welcome back to another little practice to share what I practice myself as I'm navigating my journey with grief and loss. One of the things that I find that I struggle with, I guess, is feeling misunderstood. And I think a lot of that comes from a sense of dissatisfaction with the way things are, not having that person or that thing that you lost, especially when it's a person that you loved so much. Having that be gone, it's disorienting. It's heartbreaking. And so this practice is a heart restoration practice, a heart caring practice. So it's meant to help you build self compassion, but also through that self compassion, maybe building a little bit more tolerance for people in your life who might not understand you and what you're going through. God knows we don't want anyone else to feel like we're feeling, but it can be really frustrating to be misunderstood. And so by doing some heart practices, it can help us really just let go of that, to just tune in to our own heart feelings and to respect ourselves and to put aside any sense of judgment or misunderstanding that might exist between us and other people who are in our lives. We're going to start on our backs with this one. And for this practice, I'm going to recommend that you have a bolster and a couple of blocks. If you don't have a bolster, go and gather a bunch of bed pillows. The more the better. We'll use them for a couple of our activities. And once you have your props, come on back and join me. And we're going to just simply start on our back. So let yourself come down comfortably. And maybe just take a moment to just sink in, to feel where you are right now. Place a hand on your heart, maybe both. And let's take a couple of breaths here. Nice, full, complete breaths that let your belly and your torso and your ribs all expand and fill. And let yourself sink back down on the exhale. And after those breaths, I invite you to close your eyes, maybe even grab an eye pillow and just feel your heartbeat. And if your heart is broken and it's hard to feel the heartbeat, just imagine it. It's there. As battered and bruised and scarred as it might be. As you breathe, just feel the breath in synchronization with that heartbeat. And then bring the soles of your feet to your mat or to your carpet or wherever you might be. And pick up your knees so that your shins are parallel to the mat. Then let them gently fall over onto the right side. So you're in a twist here. And then clasp your hands behind your head. And bring your elbows together so that you're just laying here with your elbows forward, your head cradled in your hands. And take a moment just to relax here. Notice if you've come into some kind of awkward position. Just find a comfortable place on your left side. And we're going to gently open and close on our breath. So we'll take a nice inhale in. And as we do, we'll lift that elbow up to the sky and let it come over and open up to the right side. And you'll feel an opening all along the side of the right side of your body, opening the right side of your chest and your heart. And then on the exhale, you'll bring that elbow back over. And we're going to do this in slow motion, about 5 or 6 times on each side. So move on your own breath. But again, you want to go slowly. You want to be gentle with your heart here. Letting that breath fuel the movement. If any of this is uncomfortable, feel free to place a pillow or a blanket under your shoulder. That might help with the sensation of the opening here. And we'll do one more. And on the next exhale, you'll come back over and just pause for a moment. And then we're going to switch over to the other side. So again, your hands will be clasped behind your neck. This time you'll be laying on your right side with your knees over to the right. And then opening up the left on the inhale, opening up. Pausing at the top, and just feeling that sensation of your open heart here. And then exhaling. And again, just like the other side, we'll do 5 or 6 of these on each side. Just slow motion, taking in the sensations. You'll probably feel this all the way down to your mid to low back area, because it's all connected. All of the elements of our body, our breath, our heartbeat. So when our heart is broken, it also means that we're not able to be as strong in most areas of our body. And so this is a nice way of strengthening that energy and fueling that compassion. We'll do one more on this side, inhaling in. Pausing. And then exhaling out. And then roll over onto your belly. And we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So you'll have your elbows underneath your shoulders, your forearms parallel to each other, shoulder distance apart. And feel from your hips up your torso. Take a nice breath in and feel a lengthening and a lifting. Just it's a gentle back bend here. If you want something a little bit more intense in the back bend, which is even more heart opening, you can come to seal pose by pressing your palms in to lift yourself up and just feeling that opening here. And you can gently move back and forth between those two poses if that feels okay to you. It's also absolutely fine to just stay here in Sphinx pose. Another alternative, if Sphinx is too uncomfortable for you, is to have a blanket or a bolster I have a pillow here underneath my hips. That can help also with how this feels on your lower back. So play around with what feels best to you. And again, if you'd like a little bit more of an opener here, you can feel the space that you're creating in the front of your chest, which is the heart opening activity, and just sending breath to it. Now we're going to come into heart melting pose. So with heart melting pose, this is a great one if you have a bolster and blocks. If not, feel free to use books and pillows. You're going to create a little table for yourself. And you're going to place your forearms on the bolster. So it's as if you're in tabletop here. And then you'll put your forearms on the bolster and let your heart melt forward as much as is comfortable for you. So if this is too extreme, then you can go ahead and prop this up even more so that you have more of a more height to your table. It can be when you're using pillows and blankets that they don't always behave properly. So find that comfort spot for yourself, and you're going to have your hips will be raised and your heart will literally melt forward. And you can let, if it's too much with blocks, you can just do it with a pillow or a bolster and just sink in here. If you'd like, you can put another something underneath your forehead. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. So take the time to find what feels right for you in this pose. For me, playing around with the position of my knees helps so that my shoulders aren't getting too strained. You can also take your palms together and bring your hands back to the nape of your neck. There's a very subtle shift also here in the energy because you can feel the opening underneath your arms a little more. And then when you're ready to come out, you'll place one hand and then the other on your mat. Taking a couple breaths here, we'll now do a couple of cat-cows. Just kind of flowing through, letting our energy flow through our bodies so that you're feeling the filling up and opening of your heart when you come into cow here. And then exhaling, kind of creating that cocoon, the heart protector position. Inhaling to free your heart. Exhaling to protect it. Finding self-compassion and heart opening involves a little bit of both. It's that dance between protecting and loving. We'll come back to tabletop here. Come and sit on your feet for a moment. You can sit in whatever position is comfortable for you, either something like hero's pose or simple cross-legged seat, whatever feels best for your body right now. And we're going to do a couple of sun breaths, seated sun breaths, just inhaling in, bringing the air up, and exhaling it back to our heart center. We can lift up if you'd like, a little bit more of a back bend here. Exhaling, hands back to heart center. It's a little bit more empowering for your heart. You're filling it with that fresh oxygen. And we'll do one more like that. And then we'll press ourselves up to stand. And maybe walk your hands towards your feet just for a moment, coming into a forward fold. And then another big, strong breath in, feeling your feet anchoring down, lifting your heart up to the sky, exhaling your hands to heart center. We're going to do a couple other heart opening poses here, and we're going to include a lunge here for to add that balance element. So we'll take our front right foot forward and drop your left knee back. If you want a more heat building practice, you can stay here in more of a high lunge, or if you feel like being more gentle today, come down into a low lunge. And we'll take our arms up. And then this time as we exhale, we'll clasp our hands back behind us and let your fingers and hands drop down towards your tailbone or beyond your tailbone towards the floor beneath you. Paying attention to that front foot, so keeping it nice and steady and anchored, pulling the energy of your thighs in toward each other, and just letting your heart open to whatever extent is comfortable. Some people might be ready for a deeper heart opener, falling back more, but any amount, even just staying up like this with your hands behind you, this is very beneficial for your opening of the heart energy and counteracting our tendency after loss to get into that hunched protectionist position, or the one that our daily lives of being on a computer or a book or a phone, all those things that tend to close off our hearts. And we'll release that. Bring your hands back down. Step that back foot forward. We'll do a little bit of a forward fold. Inhaling up again. Little back bend at the top. Exhaling, hands to heart center again. This time we'll take our left foot forward. And whatever you did on one side, do on the other. You can either come to the high lunge or the low lunge. Again, now feeling that left foot really anchored down. Inhaling your arms up. Exhaling them to clasp behind you. And doing the same on this side. So nice breath here. Feeling your foot and your shin really connected to the earth, creating stability. You have enough distance between your legs to give you a stable base here. We want to give our heart something stable to rest on. Inhaling in, exhaling. Again, whatever extent feels good for you, you want to breathe. If at any point your breath starts to feel restricted, then come back up to more upright position. And then we'll let go here And come back down onto our mats. And we're going to end with my favorite heart opening pose. In yoga, it's called Supta Baddha Konasana. You're going to take either your bolster or your bed pillows and keep the edge of it right up against your tailbone. I like to do this with my legs in butterfly, so I have the soles of my feet together. And to make this more restorative, it's nice to put blocks or pillows underneath your thighs. And gently roll yourself back one vertebra at a time. And you've got a nice gentle support here. And you can just sink in. And again, this is a position that you can stay in for as long as you'd like. It's extremely restorative, extremely self-compassionate. It gives you this calm and the serenity that you need, especially if you've got interactions with people that fire you up or make you uneasy. In this position, just let yourself feel support, feel connection, that thread of connection that runs through loss. It's the flip side of love. Just reminding ourselves of our capacity for love. Feeling love for yourself, for taking time for yourself. Often we feel that we're selfish if we take time for ourselves, but the reality is that we are more centered, more caring, more compassionate toward others when we're coming from a place of calm, of strength. And so finding ways to build that in ourselves is in fact benefiting everyone we interact with every day. And if you would like to just stay in this position for a while longer, I invite you to just pause the video and relax here. And stay here for 5, 10, 20, however long feels right to you. I like to tell people this is like my charging station. Every once in a while you have to shut your phone off and plug it in. And so they can do those amazing things for you when you need it again. Same is true with your bodies. You just sometimes have to turn it off and charge it up and not take it for granted. When you're ready to move on with your day, you can bring the soles of your feet together. Bring your knees into your chest, giving yourself a hug. Just feeling the hug. Really meaning it. Hug yourself like you want to be hugged. And then let yourself bring your feet back down. You can roll over onto your right side, cradling your head in your arm for just a moment. And press yourself back up to a seated position. We'll do one more heart-opening breath here. Exhaling. yourself a little heart tap. Thank you for joining me today for this heart opening practice. I hope you feel love. Thank you.